Welcome back to another episode of Going For It with Becker. I'm James Becker, and today's guest is someone who needs no introduction in the real estate world, but I'm going to give him one anyhow because his story is a masterclass in what happens when you decide to stop participating in the average. That person is Brent Gove. I've known him for years. He's a man that went from being a rookie agent in Sacramento to actually leading an organization of over 40,000 agents globally at EXP. What I can tell you about him, as impressive as those numbers are, the most impressive thing about Brent is his heart. He is one of the most generous people I've ever met in my life. In this episode, we dive into the defining moments that shaped his career. We talk about his journey from a solo agent to an organizational leader and why he believes success is ultimately just a math problem, and how a moment of total financial panic in 1999 led to a career move that has changed his life forever. If you're ready to become an impactful leader, this conversation will be a great one to listen to. Welcome to another episode of Going For It with Becker. I'm so thrilled to have you here. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. I've been looking forward to this all week.
It's been the highlight on your calendar. I am
Absolutely.
sure. Well, let's jump into this, and for people who don't know you in the real estate industry, which there may be one or two, but that would be it. But let's talk a little bit about you just to give some context to who you are. Can you just share a couple of defining moments in your real estate career? I've heard a couple of these stories, but if there's something that sticks out as a defining moment for you, I'd love for you to share that.
Sure. There are definitely two. Well, there's a bunch, but I can think of the two. Man, when I first started, I sold 3 homes in my first 6 months, and I was failing. I mean, I wasn't committed. I was just, kind of doing real estate, but not really wanting to do real estate, just wanting the income from real estate. And I went to my broker 6 months in. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I was frustrated. Everybody else was selling homes, but I wasn't. And he gave me some simple advice. It wasn't profound, but it worked for me. He goes, just find a way, will it to happen, make it happen, get people in your car, go show them property. If they look, they buy, and then drag them 45 minutes back from Elk Grove to Fair Oaks. And James, you and I are both from Sacramento. It's in traffic. It could be over an hour. You drag them back to the office and I'll write the offer for you because you don't know what you're doing. And that worked. I went from 3 sales in 6 months. The next year, with that powerful insight, I sold 18 homes in a 12-month period, which was a big impression, a big increase. And I was super excited about that. And I just somehow, some way found a way to go out and start showing property. And it's true. If they look, they buy. So that was,
You know what? I
breakthrough
just
number
want to
one.
tell you something that I discovered in my career that kind of hits right on that. Is that I knew that if people looked at 12 homes, that was the magic number for them to write an offer. So the
I
very
agree.
first day that I would show homes, I would show them 12 homes. And if there was no market, I would show them pending sales. They just needed to have an idea of what the
Yes.
market was so that they would feel comfortable writing. And so the sooner I could show them 12 homes, I knew that I was then on second base. Any moment then, we could get a single and drive them home into writing an offer. That's right on the money.
I love what you said. I'm scrappy. I can't find any homes. Have you called the pendings? Why would I call the pendings? Deals are falling out. Hey, James, how's the deal? It's actually pretty shaky. Oh, man, got to go show it? Go for it. So go show the pending inventory. I love that. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, that's why you're
Yeah.
James Becker and I'm Brent Gove. You're senior, I'm junior. That's so good.
That's awesome. You said there was another story. What was the second story?
Yeah, it was June 1999. Remember that? We're gonna party like it's 1999. Was that like a
Yep.
Prince song or something?
Yep. That was a Prince song for
It
sure.
was a Prince song. Yeah, yeah. That was
Yep.
like, whoa, 1999, so far away. Now it's so far behind us. But anyways, but
Yep.
I had three homes in escrow. It was June. They all filed escrow. At 9 a.m., one blew out because it didn't appraise. At 10 a.m., they couldn't do the loan. Something wasn't in the divorce paperwork, and there was just no way this person was getting a loan. And
Yep.
the other one at 11, they saw the home inspection. It scared them to death. They didn't want to buy the home, even if the seller fixed everything in the home inspection. So I went from three homes in escrow to no homes in escrow. And I had $30,000 of income, and then I had nothing. Like by noon, you wake up that morning, everything's fine. By noon, you're broke. By noon, you're like, I got to
Right.
borrow from my brother. And so I'll just cut to the chase. I told my wife, babe, it's July. I'm freaking out. I'm calling people. They're all checked out for the 4th of July as they should be, the beach, the ocean, Lake
Yep.
Tahoe, whatever, camping, houseboating, Lake Shasta. And I go, I may not be able to get people out looking at property till the 7th or the 8th. And if it takes me a week or two to sell a home and then 30 or 45 days to close, we may not have income till September. And it's
Right.
June. I panicked. So I got angry. I've been in real estate at that point 4 years. And I said, that does it. I'm working every day. I don't recommend it, but if you can't pay your bills, you should. And so I said, baby, you cool? I'm working 30 days straight. She just go for it. I go, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going crazy. I'm gonna sell 30 homes in 30 days. I didn't have a team. I didn't even have an assistant, but I go, instead of selling 30 homes in a year, I'm gonna sell 30 homes in 30 days. Oh, and the goal, and I'll end with this. The goal begged the question, if I were to sell 30 homes in 30 days, how? Like,
Right.
my record's 7. Like this
Yep.
is a stupid goal. It's a big, hairy, audacious goal. It's
Yep.
audacious. Like what a dumb thing to say. Who are you? You're not a team. Teams don't even sell 30 homes in 30 days. Trust me, there's plenty of teams that
Yep.
don't sell. But you as who do you think you are? I go, get the heck out of the way. I'm going to do it. So I go, okay, if I'm going to sell homes every day, it begged the question, how? I go, I have to show, don't would like to. I have to show property every day. Period. End of story. Every day I'm showing homes. I don't care if it's something, a duplex, a halfplex, a triplex, upscale home, a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, a 8-bedroom, 7 bath, a $300,000 condo, a $3 million dream home, whatever it is. I'm showing property every day. Somebody's seeing something today. Somebody's seeing something today. I got so intense, so focused. And guess what? Started showing property 2, 3, 4 times a day. And I started writing offers every single day. I started putting homes in escrow left and right, left and right, left and right, left and right. I started going bananas because I set a goal that was insane. It woke me up. I didn't wander into the office at 9 or 10 and have a cup of coffee and see if I could set up an open house for the weekend. Man, there was like passion. There was like fire running through my bones. And I freaking go, I'm doing this. And here's the end of the story. I failed. I didn't get there. I only sold 14 homes that month. I doubled my all-time record of 7. I never even know if I'd ever sell 7 again.
Awesome.
I doubled it. I made $156,000 in a month. And this was 1999. Today, it'd probably be
Yeah.
about
And what was the average sales
$400,000.
price in Sacramento? Like
In
225?
99, in
Yeah.
99, buddy, it was like 185,000 a house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now they're
Crazy.
what, 5, 6, 700,000 a house.
Yep.
Imagine
3 times as
14.
much.
Yeah. Imagine maybe it's 15 grand average commission where you are, or 20 times 14. You do the math. And you don't
Yeah.
have to wait a year. You could earn that next month. So
Yeah.
that was a breakthrough moment for me. I was never the same after that.
Well, one of the things that I think is important for people to understand is you and your wife not having an income for 2 or 3 months didn't just affect you and your wife. You have not just a family, you kind of have a tribe. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well,
You got a big
1999, it was
family.
just me.
It
It was
was.
just me in 99. Oh, my kids.
Okay.
Okay. You're talking about my
Yes.
kids. All right. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had
How big's
3.
your
I had 3
family?
kids by then. I have 8
Three
now, but I
kids.
had 3 back then. It was a small
8
family. Muy
now.
poquito.
Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about your family and how in the heck did you get such a big family? Like, my goodness, you and your
Well,
wife are busy, more ways than
so
one.
I've never seen Seinfeld. we quit watching TV in the late 80s. When we stopped watching TV, the hottest shows in TV were The Love Boat with Captain Steubing, Julie McCoy, Doc Isaac, and then Fantasy Island
The
with
Love Boat. Yep.
yeah, Tattoo, zip plane, and then Miami Vice,
Yeah.
Matt Don Johnson. It was like that was those and I quit watching TV. So you ask, how did you have so many kids when there's nothing else to do at night? We had a lot of kids, it's like you can't watch the TV. So we had to occupy ourselves, and I have 8 kids. So I won't explain anymore. If you can't figure that out, then the rest is on you.
Well, you
That's
adopted a
what I
couple of
recommend. You want to
kids.
have a better life.
Have more
Get rid of your
kids.
TV. You
Get rid
find
of your
other activities.
TV.
There you go.
So if you want to improve your sex life, get rid of your TV.
You said it, not me, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I know about you, and you were infamous in Sacramento way before the growth that you've had with your current broker, EXP, but you were really well known. You had a radio show for a while that you did, and you led big teams. And one of the things that when you see somebody so successful, which you've been successful for a long period of time, not at the level that you are now, but in Sacramento, you were a big fish for sure for a long period of time. And in real estate, there's a real negative thing that if someone's doing well, the trolls come out, if you will, and start saying bad things, or this is how he's doing it, this is how he's doing it. And so when I first met you, I had this impression that there was something wrong with you, and that there was not something that was genuine or whatever you might want to say. And one of the things that I've learned about you, Brent, is I've gotten to know you over the years, and you've got lots and lots of friends. Like, your circle's really big, but I would consider you a dear friend.
Same here, buddy.
At this
Same.
point. And you are hands down one of the most generous people I have ever met. And what I realized over time is your success. You've got heart, you've got hustle, but the generosity absolutely attracts a number of people. And I want to talk a little bit about that. Like, how can you be so generous? Like, you just give and give and give. You give of your time, you give of your energy, you pour into people. I've seen you do it. You just pour into people like nothing else. You have a staff that you pay incredibly well. You share your winnings. I know that when you were at KW, you used to fly like 30 people to Hawaii for a week and pay for all of it. Where did this generosity come from? How did you get to be Brent Gove?
Wow. Well, thank you, first of all. But man, I don't know. It seemed like the right way to go. I mean, my dad, growing up, would always, buy people breakfast or lunch or dinner. And we weren't rich. We lived in a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home in Chula Vista, south of San Diego. Did anyone know San Diego? Like, oh, Chula Vista, that's the hood.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Tijuana's right there. And I could see Tijuana from my backyard. But so we weren't rich, but my dad was a generous person. And so I think the example set by my dad, and then becoming a Christian at 19, I went up to Chico State, #1 party school in America, and actually found my faith. I mean, most people find Coors Light, a fraternity, I tap a Coors fraternity I went up there to do exactly that, to party, be wild, swing from the chandeliers. And my roommate was a Christian. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in the dorms. I have a Christian for a roommate. I go, wait a minute, I'm a Christian, but I would just go to Christian. I would go to church. We're American, we're Christian. The Chinese are Buddhist. The Middle East is a lot of Muslims, and Italy are Catholic. They got the Pope, and I'm American. I'm not Catholic. I mean, a lot of
Yep.
Catholics are in America, but I kind
Yep.
of just like I was raised going to the Presbyterian church, Baptist, whatever, But
Yep.
so I thought, man, this guy's like a real Christian. He actually reads his Bible and prays. So it challenged me because I was a Christian, but I wasn't like him at all. So I started going to his church called Calvary Chapel. It was awesome. Loved it. I thought it'd be weird and I'd feel better, but I didn't. And I liked it. I'm like, oh, crud, I like his church. So I found my faith. And I think as a Christian, we're called to be generous and to represent Christ and to be a light in the darkness. So I think my father and then finding my faith helped me to become whatever degree of generous I am. And I love it. I love being generous. So, but thank you. I don't know if I'm that generous, but I try.
Well, I mean, you certainly are humble as well, considering the some of the circles that you run in and the success that you've had. And let's talk about your most recent success.
Okay.
You 2015 ish, I think, joined EXP, and EXP went from when you joined about
2017.
5,000.
2017. There are
Yeah,
1,200 EXP agents in the world.
yeah,
Yep.
and it just exploded after you joined. Now you weren't responsible for all of that, but you were responsible for a big part of it. And I think right now your people that are attached to what you have recruited is over a third of the company or somewhere close to those particular numbers. That's just astounding. And you know, we're going to have some brokers and team leaders. What is it that allowed you to start recruiting at the level that you recruit? What gave you the gosh, the courage to just to talk to everybody? And I know you did that at Keller Williams and you were successful there, but what makes you such a great recruiter, Brent? And I've seen you in action, like, but what is it? Tell us your secrets.
Um, well, I don't know if I'm a great recruiter, but I was ready. I was just ready.
Okay,
I
the
could have done.
scoreboard says you are.
Okay, fine, fine, fine. I wouldn't have been ready to do it in 97, 98, 99. I was too busy learning real estate, right? And so you go through this metamorphosis, this journey. First, like, how do I even get clients? Second, how do I get the clients to see property? Third, how do I get them to write offers? Four, how do I get them to stick? How do I win in multiple offers? Five, how do I get them to stay in escrow and not be freaked out by the home inspection? Six, how do I learn what loans are and how to work with the right lender and get them pre-approved and understand the process. And seven, okay, now I sell 30, 40, 50, 60 homes a year. I'm all with buyers. I'm exhausted. I got to get some listings. So how do I become a listing agent? Seven, you become a listing agent. Now I need staff. I need signs. I need marketing. I need flyers. I need video. I need staging. Eight, I got this. I got all these leads coming from the signs. I need some buyers agents. I don't have time to show property. I got 15 listings, 25 listings. And then you get buyers agents, and then you get 3 or 4 or 10 or 40. I had 45 buyers agents. And so I had a huge listing inventory, and all these buyers agents take the internet leads, the sign calls, the open house, family, friend, neighbors. So that's that metamorphosis. Then okay, I got this big team. I'm the number one Remax agent in California. I'm selling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes a year, which is where you and I met back in like 04, 05. And I was number one in volume. And then what's next? You buy a franchise. I guess I got to buy a Century 21 or a Berkshire Hathaway. Or I was looking at a company called Intero with Gino
I remember
Lafarge,
Intero.
or however you say his name, right? Gino. And I went there and met with
Yep.
Gino and considered buying one, but the market was crashing. And he said,
He was the president of Berkshire Hathaway at one time, was he not,
yeah,
Gino?
after
Yep.
Warren Buffett bought Intero in the San Francisco, San Jose Bay Area, he also
Yep.
said, I want you to be my CEO. And he did that. He just retired this past year, I understand. But so you go through these processes, and then if you buy a franchise, if one is good, two is better. In fact, I own seven Century 21s, or I own nine Windermere homes, and so you just get deeper into the mire, and
Yeah.
you're handcuffed. Pretty soon, you don't own a franchise. The franchise owns you. You are stuck, and you get a big Remax tattoo on your fanny. or a
Yeah.
Berkshire Hathaway. Everyone listening, remember, you ever buy a franchise, you do not own the franchise. They own you.
Yeah.
Try to sell it. I'll just sell it. Well, if they want to retain you, they decline the sale. In the fine print of your franchise paperwork, it says we reserve the right to approve or decline the sale. We don't want just anyone to buy our Century 21 or our
Yeah.
Berkshire or Keller Williams. I know many people that have desperately tried to sell their Keller Williams, and some have, but many, and like Keller Williams, didn't want to let go of them because they were
Yep.
too dangerous, and they declined the sale, declined the sale. I've heard that's what they've
Yep.
told them. So I've heard, and I've seen that, and so you literally they own you. You are paying to get owned. And I've said, so when EXP came along, I didn't have to buy an EXP franchise. I had to just refer 25 of my friends who were selling real estate, who told their friends, who told their friends. And today there's over 40,000 agents and brokers in 33 countries. And we did almost 100 billion in sales last year. It's pretty awesome. And so the leverage of it, is pretty cool.
Let's talk about proximity to success. One of the things that, and I won't disclose it here, but you told me, you have, what is the Build conference that you started, that franchise, which is now more local, but you were putting on really big shows, and you had Anthony Robbins fly out and participate in some of those processes. And now I know that you have a deeper connection with Anthony and some other people that evolve around Anthony Robbins, and he's a pretty incredible guy and has a lot of success. And for some people think, like, here's this real estate agent that isn't going to sell a home for 3 months and is going to be broke with his 3 kids and his wife that's relying on him. 10 years later is hanging out with Anthony Robbins. Like, how does that happen?
Intentionality, man. You want to hang out with Ed Milet, John Maxwell, James Becker. You put yourself in the rooms with these people. And I have. I made it a point to get to know you, to be purposeful and intentional with my life. And you can meet anyone you want to meet. And if it's just, most people are wandering generalities, and you got to go from that to be meaningful, specific. Like, design your life. Don't just let life happen to you. You act, don't react, act, be proactive. And so that's what we did. And in fact, I'm flying Monday to meet with Tony in West Palm Beach this Monday. So I'm going to hang out in your neck of the woods in West Palm Beach. If you're available Thursday morning, let's have breakfast. I'll be in West Palm Beach at the Breakers.
Okay, that's a date.
All right, let's have breakfast. There we go, live over the podcast.
I'm only 20 minutes away from there.
I'll see if Tony can grab breakfast with us. Wouldn't that be fun? You, me, and Tony.
That would be amazing.
Heck yeah.
That would be amazing.
Let's do it. Why not? See, most people go, it can never happen. It can totally happen. You just got to ask. And that's how I recruited. I just ask people and love them, be authentic. And people, how do you convince them to do XP? I did. I just found the ones who wanted to. If you convince people to do something, they will get into not do anything. But if they're excited, I found the ones who were excited. So I never really answered your question about recruiting, but that's it. Be real, be authentic, and look for the people who want to run.
Well, let's be more tactical. So that's kind of high level stuff, but let's be more tactical.
Okay, let's do it.
You got somebody who's brand new that wants to go out and recruit for EXP or some similar company, whatever the case may be, but they got to get out face to face with people. What are you telling them to do specifically? Like Monday, what are they doing Monday? Tuesday, what are they doing Tuesday? Like,
it's funny that you say that. I'm coaching a guy right now who used to be with the XP, and he got the huge opportunity to develop a massive company with the commercial brokerage, but they've never had a residential component. And so he left the XP, and I'm totally coaching him how to recruit agents. And people are like, what? He's not with the XP. So what? He's a human being. He's got a wife and kids. I like him. And so he's in the Midwest. I'll just say that much. And I'm coaching him. And it's the same advice if you're recruiting at Remax or Keller Williams or EXP. Success is a math problem. You have to talk to so many people,
numbers problem,
so many yeses, and you could talk to 1,000 people over the next 3 years. You could talk to 1,000 people over the next 3 months. It's pace,
Yep.
it's momentum. Tony Robbins says everything is easier with momentum. And if you
Yep.
like have momentum, then you better up your game. You need to go watch the movie In Pursuit of Happiness and Myth again with Will Smith and that guy and what
Yep.
he did to make the phone calls. He's pushed himself
It's a
every day.
great
He's pushed
movie.
and
Yep.
he with massive action creates results. And of course, he got it. And they so successful, they made a movie about his life. And someone can make a movie about your life if you put in this effort. And then it gets easy. Everything you touch turns to gold. But until you kind of just click over, and all of a sudden, man, you get every listing you go on. You hire every agent you talk to. You're just on fire. And it's like that going to the gym. It's like that in relationships. Everything with momentum is easier.
Yep. That's so true because when I first started, it was 1990, and I was at
Were
Lions
you
at
10 years old back then?
yeah, 1990. We're same age, and,
Wow. You were young.
and so I was like 24, and I was at Frank Cook Realty, and then I was there for a little while, and then I went to Lion and Associates with Messina, was the manager. I remember I called him. I said, "Hey, I want to come to work at Lions because that was the premier office." And he goes, "Yeah, we're really kind of full here, blah blah blah." And I said, "Well," I go, "Okay, no problem. But before I go, do you care about how many homes I sell?" And he
They were
laughed,
so
and he
cocky.
goes, and he just laughed at himself because he goes, because I just sounded so young. So he was like, yes. And then I said, well, in my first year, I sold 18 homes and out of scratch. And he goes, yeah, can you be in here in an hour? And and so the market was hot then. And then I moved to Lions in it, and I'd gotten married. My wife was pregnant, and the market, and I don't know if you were in the market then, but it was the worst market. Never been in a worse market in Sacramento. It's when the bases were closing down. There was a sign on every single,
Oh
like
yeah.
every
No, I
house had
got
a
in in
sign on.
96, 6 years
Okay,
after that.
you,
And they
you
handed me a mag light, a big, long mag flashlight, because
yeah,
all the homes were boarded up, the lawns are
yeah,
dead. I showed property with them. I thought that was how real estate was done. I like, here's
yeah,
your business cards, and here's a mag light to beat off vagrants and
yeah.
keep yourself home in
It's,
these homes that the power's been
it,
cut.
it, it's exactly. But I sat down and I just started dialing. Hi, this is James Becker with Lion and Associates. I have a buyer is looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Arden Park. You have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Arden Park. Would you like to sell your home? No, they're going to take me out feet first. Ha ha ha. Okay, well, thanks. All right, next one. Hi, it's James Becker. So I had 4 women that had cubicles that moved their cubicles because they couldn't stand listening to me. And it was just, I didn't know anybody and I didn't know anything better. And so that's what I had to do. And it ended up being very fruitful, but it was a bit of a grind to do that.
Yeah.
One of the things that I do that I think helps me a lot is I come into my office on Saturdays and Sundays, and I look at, okay, what's not going right? Where is there friction? What am I doing that's not helping me in my process? And I'm constantly looking for those things that I can improve on, probably too much so that I'm maybe focused on a little bit of the negative sometime. But is there a process that you go through? In Alcoholics Anonymous, they talk about taking a brutal moral inventory of yourself, looking at what you're doing. Do you ever do that? Like look at like, where am I dropping the ball? How can I improve? And how often do you do that? And then what do you do with that information?
Oh yeah, yeah. I have a business partner, James Stroop, and we
Who's
meet
awesome,
every
by the way.
He is great.
Awesome.
He's the yin to
Yep.
my yang. I am a
He's awesome.
snowball moving down a Swiss slope. I love everybody.
Yep.
Hug 'em, let's go. But
Yep.
somebody's got to organize the mess, and he's the Excel
Yep.
spreadsheet. He's the
Yep.
Wizard of Oz. Nobody knows who he hides in the shadows, but he makes things go. We built a huge company
Yep.
together, but we meet quarterly and we look at what we're doing right, what we're doing okay, what we're doing wrong, how can we improve that. Plus, I use a program called the 90. We meet every Monday for 90 minutes with my staff. It's been life changing. Been doing it for a year now. Guy named Cole Taylor heads that up. A
What is the
consultant.
program? Say it again.
The 90.
The
And it's it's
90.
it's it's all based around 90-minute meeting every week with your staff, and it's very organized. And my
Yep.
staff is blossoming. I mean, they're just like we're exploding for one. It's been incredible. We were a pretty highly functional staff, but I have 18 full-time and some independent contractors. So about 18 that actually help me run my company. But we meet every week. Some people live in Nashville. Some people live far away, so they join on Zoom. But we meet every Monday for 90 minutes. It's been incredible. And then every 90 days, 90-minute meetings every week. Then every 90 days, we meet live in person all day, and we come up with quarterly rocks and then milestones to achieve those rocks. Then we nicely hold each other accountable. We report every week. How's it going? I'm off track. I'm on track. Off track. Oh, you're off track. How can we help you? Then we get in. It's not like, oh, wow, it's too bad Becker's not hitting his goals. Poor sucker. I'm nailing mine. No. Hey, James, how can I help you? In fact, I
Right.
got something I can help you with that. So we help each other hit the goals. We are, I love it. Cole Taylor, can't say enough about that guy. It was the best money I've ever spent. But so
Colt
that's how
Taylor?
his name is Cole Taylor, and I
Cole
love
Taylor.
called the 90, Cole Taylor, and he is so good. Best money. I dropped it's
I'm
25 grand to do the program, and I heard him do his spiel, and here's my MX patent. I mean, run it, baby. I knew it. And my staff's like, what did you do? I go, you'll see. And they're like, this is the best thing we've ever done in our 9 years at EXP. They love it. And I'm telling you, we are rowing the boat. We are moving like we've never moved. We're on the same page. Everybody's like a level 10, excited. I'm getting goosebumps just telling you. If you need to get your stuff best, it's good. That's all I can tell
going to
you.
look them up. Where do you see the business going with all these changes from the lawsuits to AI? Where do you see real estate in 5 years? The real
More of
estate
the
agent's
same.
life.
More of the same. I think the agents that will dominate are going to use AI in their business, and they're going to leverage AI. Anytime we leverage technology, you're going to do better. Like you were calling people, hi, it's James Becker with Lions Real Estate. I have a client looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Hey, you live in a 3-bed. What if you could have AI agents doing that for you and not violate the call thing and just using AI and technology to leverage yourself? The agents who don't won't be able to compete. Now, there are people who get so many referrals, they'll survive, but some of the newer agents, and of course, they lived with technology. But I think I'm a big proponent of tech and to utilize it where you can, but keep it simple. Don't overwhelm yourself. Become So that's where I am
Yeah,
with
don't
it.
get lost in the forest for sure.
Yes, yes. Don't be
Don't
the
get
the jack of all trades, master of none. Figure something out, riches in the niches. I always kind of hated that saying, but it's true, whether it's commercial, luxury, whatever. So yeah.
I wrote a white paper on AI in real estate about a year ago, and my whole premise on this thing is that AI is basically a psychopath, and what I mean by that is AI can simulate like they have feelings. They can simulate like it cares. But intuitively, as people, we know it's a computer. It's ones and zeros. It doesn't care. You could throw it out the window. It doesn't matter. And for there to be truly a fiduciary duty and for someone to be accountable, a human has to have some kind of shame about, or the ability for shame to know that they did a good job or didn't do a good job. And then
Computers
we know
don't
that if we
feel
want
guilt.
advice, so
Yeah.
you can have this information, but you still want someone that you can hold accountable and say, Brent, is this a good idea or not? Am I on the right track or not? And I need you to be accountable to me in that advice that I have something that I could go back to. And I think that is critically important. And then we look at how divided our country is, which is just devastates me so much, that the gaslighting that goes on. But the realities is you take a piece of property that is unique in its condition and in the price and in the location and everything else, and you have to get two people to agree on terms and price and everything else. How is that going to happen without people being people and having those relationships? And so what I've been telling people is, one, you have to run a business, you have to have the systems and procedures and all that kind of stuff. But the value of the agent is the ability to connect with people and influence them to make good decisions for themselves and move things forward. And I think that's going to be one of the last things that AI will be able to do effectively without a human
Correct.
being. That's my viewpoint.
But AI is going to help you get to the plate more often, to be that person, to have authenticity, to look them in the eyes and say, I'm your guy. I'm your gal.
Yep.
No one's going to jump higher, work harder. I'll turn over every rock, every leaf. I want this listing so bad I can taste it. Let's go. And AI is not going to do that, but it will get you to the plate. And if you do that every day, 30 days a month, wow. But what if you did it 2 or 3 times a day, 60 to 90 times a day? And what if you literally have people getting 2 or 3 listings a day right now? We're on fire here in Northern California.
Let's just take a mid-producing agent, someone who's making a living, but they're not making the amount of money. Let's say they're around 5 million or 6 million, and they want to go to 12 million or 18 million. What would you advise them?
So they're doing 5 million in volume, but they want to double or triple their volume. Is that what you just said to me?
That's right.
I would say this. First of all, your best thinking has gotten you to where you are. 5 million. Like I remember thinking, how does anybody sell more than 49 homes a year? I was selling 40. I'm like, I was working 60, 70 hours a week. I'm coaching Little League. I'm coaching soccer. I'm trying to stay married. I got 3 kids. I'm like, how does anybody do 70 or 80? Like, how can you do it? And then I got around Craig Proctor, one of the top real estate trainers back in the 90s, and he was the top RE/MAX, and he was selling 600. I'm like, I started, then he showed me how he thought, what his processes were. Bam, I go to 400. I 10x to my business. And then I met guys like you, James Becker, who is incredible in Fusion Realty. And I can't even tell you how many people use Fusion, not Realty, but it used to be Fusion Realty, by the way. That's how old I am. That's why it just flew out of my mouth, because in Sacramento, he's a legend. Everybody knows Fusion Realty and James Becker, but now it's Fusion, and he's a global and force to be reckoned with. And but meeting people like you, and so proximity is power. If you want to become a listing agent, get around people who are listing agents. They think different, they talk different, they act different, and you pick up their mannerisms. You want to fail, get around people who are failing. You want to win, get around people who are winning. And so start going to those masterminds, get on an airplane, go places, go look, you're in Minnesota, I'm in Phoenix, you're in Miami, I'm in Atlanta. I'm not a competitor to you. How do you get your listing leads? And I would beg people to tell me. I remember this guy, Leonard Fazio in Iowa, is getting 680 homes a year. Leonard, I'm in Sacramento. What do you do? And he spoke on stage. I took him to lunch. 800 people in the audience. Nobody invited Leonard to lunch. I invited Leonard to lunch for an hour. He poured into me and asked my question. You guys can all do this stuff, but you don't invite him to lunch. Oh, I did. They said no. Did you invite him to breakfast? Oh, they said no too. Did you invite him to coffee before breakfast? Well, I didn't think of that. No, they said no. I did coffee before breakfast. I did. They wouldn't meet with me. Did you tell them that you have a beautiful black Escalade and you take them to the airport so they didn't have to get an Uber themselves? Well, I didn't do that, but I don't have a beautiful black Escalade. Yes, you do. It's called Uber Black. And you buy the stupid thing, and then you take Ed Milet, you take Tom Ferry, you take whoever it is that impresses you, Gary Brecka, James Becker, you take your hero to the airport. You spend 30, 45, well, that's kind of inconvenient. Well, I guess success is inconvenient. Get a ticket on the struggle bus. Once you fight through it, you'll never be the same. You can't go backwards. And it is easy to list homes. It's easy to make $1 million a year. It is easy to make $1 million a year. You're like, that sounds crazy. Listen to me. It's easy. But you don't hang around people who do it all the time. All your friends make 100, 200, 300,000. That's all you can see. So get around people who think bigger, dream bigger, live a different while. Watch them. Success leaves.
And what I would say is all those people that are doing it are executing consistently. They have systems and they have the processes and they do the boring day in and day out until the momentum takes them over the top. And
Gave you
that's what
inspired.
those people are doing.
I'm getting up at
And
my office here. I'm going to show you something. You talked
yep,
about execution, right? So
yep,
I wrote this. I had a picture of my, this is my actual office right here
it's awesome. It's
out here, but
beautiful.
that's not why I'm showing you this, but I have something I wrote above the wall here. It says, don't let your emotions dictate your actions. Let your actions dictate your emotions. And that's right
Yep,
over the top of my entire office here. Because if you're like, well, I don't feel like door knocking, I don't feel like doing open house, I don't feel like making the phone calls.
yep.
Who cares? You sound like a child, you got to
You
do this
sound
right
like a
here.
child.
I got my things
Yeah,
here. Right here's my favorite one. All of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. A little guy named Walt
yep,
Disney said that. So
yep,
are you pursuing your dreams? Are you putting in the work? That's what you just said. It's doing
yep.
the action, the work.
When I invited you to our event that we had, and you weren't able to come, for sure you'll be at the
Sorry
next
about
one.
that.
We'll put no, no, no. We'll for sure have you at the next one.
Love to be there.
But I gave a keynote, and I talked about the movie Rocky and how it affected me. And really, it's a movie about spirituality, because not a boxing movie. Because really, what the lesson of the movie to me is that you have to increase your suffering to transcend the everyday suffering. And you have to get in and be willing to suit up and show up and do the hard things to make things easier later on. And that's my belief, and I've seen you do it, and I've seen a lot of other people do it. And when you do it with purpose and with a destination, it doesn't feel like suffering because there's purpose behind it, at least in my opinion.
Absolutely. You're an
Brent,
amazing man, James Becker. I'm a huge fan.
you are just a terrific person, a terrific business person, super generous. You're a great public speaker. I've just watched you blossom over these last 9 years in many different ways. And, I look to you to see what I should be doing next. And I like, I'm a much more hard-nosed German than you are. I can't be Brent Gove, but I aspire to be as generous and as warm as you are. I'm never going to
Thank
get
you,
there, but
buddy. I give you a big hug. We're
but
going to breakfast, dude. We're having breakfast at the
yeah,
Breakers in West Palm Beach this Thursday. I'm buying. Hey, I wrote on the top of my task list. I have a silly little quote. It's right here.
yeah.
Pain is the gatekeeper of destiny. That's
See,
what
that's
you just
exactly
said.
what I was saying.
I know you said that. It's on my task.
Yeah,
I leave it at the
yeah.
top of my task list. Suck it
Well,
up, baby. Let's go.
again, super appreciate it, Brent. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you, James. Go Fusion. I'm a huge fan. Love you guys. And I'll see you this Thursday for breakfast.